Ladies and gentlemen, it is Friday again, and you know what that means. It is a league change, and not only is it a league change, it is the last league change of this season. So Season of Wonders ends in, I think, 1 week at 3 p.m. CST next Friday. So that means you have 7 days to get in. I guess all 3 leagues are available: Open Great, Open Ultra, and Open Master League. Now's the time to really shoot for that rating that you're looking for, and I'm here to help with a few teams that hit rank 1 on the leaderboard. I think 5 of these teams, 6 of these teams hit rank 1. No, I'm sorry. 5 of these teams hit rank 1, and 2 of them hit rank 3. So these are the best teams of the season for Open Great League. I probably should have said that. And we're going to go ahead and go through them. It's a lot of teams, so let's go ahead and get into it. But first, if you haven't, maybe you have forgotten to hit the subscribe button when looking at the other videos. So I'm just here to give you that little nudge, and I'll hope to see some subscriptions. Now let's go ahead and get into the teams. All right, so we have this first team. If you remember this one, it's from Juanillo. He's from Spain. He was running the Shadow Feraligatr in the lead, sort of as like a safe lead. Then he had Pidgeot in the back, which is one thing that's not necessarily great or anything about Pidgeot is it is only using flying moves, so kind of the old Skarmory. But to note, we're running Aerial Ace here instead of Feather Dance, just as an extra attack. Sometimes people aren't ready for it. You can throw it at 5 when they try to switch out on like a Poliwrath lead or something like that. And yeah, they'll get caught with the move. So definitely you have that. And then obviously Brave Bird is a great finishing move. Pidgeot has a high attack stat, so Brave Bird really going to be hitting things for a lot. And then you have Annihilape here in the back with Counter Shadow Ball Night Slash. I forget if he actually was running Ice Punch, but even if he was, I do prefer Night Slash more. Gives you a little bit more possibilities. Now, this team is somewhat weak to Mandibuzz, but it's okay. It's also kind of weak to Lantern, but also, again, kind of okay. Crunch going to give you that little bit of extra against Lantern on the Feraligatr. You can sort of sack that lead, come into Annihilape, and then have hopefully really good matchups in the back for Pidgeot, which it should be, to be fair. They shouldn't be double strong to Pidgeot usually. So, yeah, that's this team. Annihilape can also be your finisher. Obviously, it has Shadow Ball, one of the strongest moves in the game for damage per energy. And let's go ahead and get into the next team. It was Andy Copey. He hit rank 1 with this Alolan Ninetales with Charm, Weather Ball, and Psyshock. Psyshock obviously going to be a faster move to get to, and when you're running Charm, you don't have very good energy generation, so you can't really get to like that Dazzling Gleam. So Psyshock going to also give you a little bit more of that coverage, but again, mainly there to give you coverage outside of Weather Ball, and it's kind of fast to get to. I'm going to also have this safe swap as Lickitung. Lickitung is just one of the safest swaps out of every Mon this season, and probably the last few seasons. Even against things like Annihilape, it has a little bit of play against, and like Poliwrath. Both of those are counter users, which obviously deal super effective with Lickitung, but it has the lick damage, which is super effective against the Annihilape, and then the Power Whip damage is going to be super effective against the Poliwrath, who is also pretty squishy in its own right, so if you get into that shields down scenario, Power Whip definitely going to do a ton. And then you have Lantern here in the back, used by a lot of people this season. Lantern is pretty RPS, but that's why it's not your safe swap. If they switch out of the lead into something that Lantern beats, throw Lantern in there, because that's the wave he's going to ride. Let's go ahead and get into that next team. It's the Crescent Angels team. So this is more of like a safe lead, but you can always safe swap into Clodsire. Clodsire very bulky, but let's go over the lead first. Dragonite, Shadow version, going to be doing a lot of damage, has Dragon Breath, so a ton of fast move pressure, has a very fast move of Dragon Claw, and has that extra coverage move, Superpower. Superpower there mainly to beat some of the things that beat or that have really good matchups against Dragonite. So you're looking at the steel types, mainly like Registeel, even decent against the Skarmory, going to do about half. Yeah, it's very frail in the front, but you can go shields down to win switch. And if you get something like Skarmory into a good matchup, that's just going to be GG. Again, you can use Clodsire as the safe swap. It obviously has very good bulk, has decent coverage moves in Earthquake and Stone Edge, very high hitting moves, and since it has Mud Strike, this moves pretty fast. and has a decent typing with the poison, one of the few poison mon that's viable in this season. And again, Skarmory, a little bit of that RPS triangle like Lantern is in, so if you ever find a good matchup for Skarmory, just throw him in there, don't hesitate. Also good to note in the back is your ABB comp against a lead like we saw against the Andy Kopi team. The Alolan, or any Charmer, I guess, any Fairy type against Dragonite is going to be really bad for the Dragonite, but both our mon in the back are actually very good against Fairy, resisting that Charm damage. All right, I believe this was the first rank 1 team of the season, if I remember right. It's going to be Hakamo O in the front with Lantern and Feraligatr, Shadow Feraligatr in the back. Just a very basic ABB team. 2 waters in the back. Shadow Feraligatr with energy is enough to try to win switch, which is what you're going to be trying to do, or get that shield advantage, and hopefully that Lantern's bulkiness will be able to win in the back. Again, a little bit of that RPS in Lantern, but a very basic ABB comp. Hakamo O with Brick Break, the new move to this, or the updated move for this season. If you ever get Hakamo O in the end game with maybe a shield advantage, you can definitely lower the defense of that mon, and then hopefully the Dragon Tail or the Shadow Claw is going to be able to add up. Or if they're down shields, one last second Hydro Cannon or Surf with that defense drop is going to be able to do a lot, especially that Hydro Cannon being a Community Day move. All right, this team is the Jason team. I put an arrow there at the beginning of the season. He was leading Dugong with, again, really no safe swaps. You kind of want to win the matchup in the front with Dugong, or at least get it down low. And if it's bad for the Bastiodon, you come in with the Annihilape. If it's bad for the Annihilape, you come in with the Bastiodon after Dugong goes down. And then hopefully the other one of those two in the back will be able to take the game in a 2v1, but with some sort of shield advantage, or just a huge energy advantage from being Icy Winded down in the front. But he did end up switching. I think he ended up switching the lead. I can't remember now. Did he switch the lead into the Dugong, or did he start with the Dugong? Either way, he was also running the team with Annihilape here in the front. Ooh, this is the wrong Annihilape. Can I change this fast enough? No. Okay, so the Annihilape that he used actually had counter with Night Slash and close combat. So you really want to use that close combat since you get there in 7. And then you're 1 away from the Shadow Ball, so it tricks people into thinking, oh, he didn't even go up to the Shadow Ball. What a noob. He didn't even go all the way up. And then, boom, you hit him with the close combat, and obviously close combat from Annihilape is going to do a lot. Has stab, same type attack bonus. But also just Annihilape, very attack-weighted mon, so going to be doing a lot of damage there. And let's go to the next team. There's a lot of teams here, and I kind of just want to get through them as fast as possible. I don't think I've ever done this many teams in a best teams video. I think I usually try to stick to 4, but these are all the teams that I knew were that rank 1 or top 5 teams. So this is the Palasha team. She was running Shadow Magnezone with Cresselia and Shadow Gligar in the back. The Shadow Gligar is a safe swap. Shadow Magnezone's in the front. If you ever get a good matchup with Shadow Magnezone, obviously you can just stay in it. Another thing is even a matchup like even the ground types aren't that good against him in Open Great League. Shadow Magnezone just being able to hit single resist against the Gligar and the Whiscash is something to note. Since Whiscash has that water typing and subtyping, and then the subtyping for Gligar are going to be the flying type, so you get a little bit of extra push in there, and it actually ends up doing a lot. And to be fair, yeah, in the Whiscash matchup, that's obviously bad. You want to get out of there. But in the Gligar matchup, I saw her staying in a lot of times. You can check out all these videos on my channel if you want to go more in depth, like a team versus team type thing. All of these are in the channel somewhere. So. Yeah, Shadow Gligar, usually a very good safe swap in this league. It's literally defining the league because it is so safe and has such good coverage, and then with a little bit of energy advantage can even take over a lot of the matchups that aren't that good for Gligar. Obviously something like a Dugong is not great, but Dig still does a lot, but Dugong being double super effective with the ice, but you really don't see something like that too much. Dugong is the most used ice user. I guess something like Alolan Sandslash is pretty bad, but it's interesting because if it has Shadow Claw, it's going to be really good against the Cresselia, and it's going to do decent against the Magnezone. But then if it has, it means it doesn't have Powder Snow, which is the double super effective fast move against the Gligar. But to be fair, if it's a Shadow, definitely going to one-shot with the Ice Punch anyways, being double super effective against the Gligar. Another thing to note here is the Cresselia was using Future Sight rather than Moonblast. I don't know. Okay, so it's weird. Towards the end of last season and the beginning of this season, a lot of dark types coming up, something like Guzzlord. You really didn't see that much though in the back half. So I'm not too sold on Moonblast right now. It is trending downward, but it can easily trend upward. I mean, we don't know. It's literally the last week of the season, and then next season, any type of shakeup can change any of this. So, yeah, Wild Charge obviously going to be hitting crazy hard in the neutrals. If you can get a shield advantage through your back two Pokemon, which Cresselia is very bulky and has great coverage, and Gligar has extremely good coverage, especially with an energy lead, you're going to be slapping with Magnezone. All right, last team, but not least, you cannot forget the very first legend of the season, and I believe that was Dilap turn. So yeah, he was running the Mantine in the front. Mantine, you should check right there, has Water Pulse instead of Ice Beam, and had the Shadow Poliwrath and the Shadow Gligar in the back. Shadow Gligar, again, almost always going to be your safe swap in these types of comps that have Shadow Gligar in the back. Energy advantage, all that, going to gain you shields or maybe even gives you back switch. And then your finisher is going to be the Shadow Poliwrath. Scald obviously hitting really hard. Shadow Poliwrath counter. Counter is one of the best fast attacks in this season. If that gets nerfed next season, it's going to be crazy. I don't think it will, but it is, I think, the best fast attack in the game right now. Wing attack, obviously very good for energy generation, but counter, as far as energy generation and packing a hit, that's counter. And then you obviously have Icy Wind with your, if it is the last Mon that you're facing, and you end up Icy Winding it a couple times, yeah, you're going to obviously win that. So that is all the teams that I have. The 7 best teams, 5 of which were rank 1 at some point in this season. And I know I'm going to be using some of these teams. I also have a few other teams I definitely want to try out. And that's going to be it for Open Great League. I do have videos in the channel for Open Ultra and Open Master League. But I think if you're going to be trying to get games near the 3,000 rank, it's definitely going to be long queues in the other two. Open Great League is just by far the most... I guess what the people want, the people's choice. So yeah, a lot more people in Open Great League, and the closer we get to the end of the season, the more people are going to be trying to hit their goals. I hope that you hit your goal. I hope this video helped you out. I'd love to see in the comments, hey, this team was great. It helped me get X amount of points, and now it's my first time at Ace or something like that. So if you have those stories, let me know, and I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully, I do have more videos coming out this week. I took a little bit of a hiatus there during Catch Cup. Not my favorite cup. I mean, I could only run basically 2 teams, and I didn't really play that much. Didn't have much incentive. I think I'm sitting around 3,200 right now. But I will be playing Open Great League, so I'll be definitely trying out these teams and showing you how they work. But again, some of these videos are already in the channel. Definitely go to catch them. And again, if you want to catch an Open Master League, an Open Ultra League, Best Mon, I have multiple videos of those in the channel. Check them out, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey, thank you for watching the video, and if you want to continue to support me, definitely click that subscribe button. You'll see any content coming out, and if you want another video on this same league for some more tips and tricks to other teams, check that video out right there, and I'll see you in the next one.